Humans tend to believe that the life of the universe begins and ends with our civilization, but there are many more races out there with thousands of years of advancement over us. Welcome to Wild Seat. Long ago, in a distant universe, other extraterrestrial races explored space. On the planet Summaries, Mill was spending time with his daughter Navain at the beach while telling his wife Aliyah that he had accepted a 2-year exploration job. Usually, his jobs were shorter, but he needed the extra money to pay for Navain's medical treatment. Mill also taught his daughter how to whistle with her hands and had an important talk with her before leaving. Sometime later, Mill found himself on a ship carrying the crew in cryogenic sleep. Suddenly, the ship was struck by meteorites and Mill struggled to keep it airborne. Fortunately, the ship landed on a nearby planet, although it disintegrated in the process. Mill awoke to find himself injured and the ship in an unknown location. Despite the pain, Mill put on his astronaut suit and began investigating the ship. He discovered that the cryogenic chamber was damaged and all his crewmates had perished in the accident. Meanwhile, he explored the planet and encountered a mysterious creature swimming in a pool of water. Mill also discovered that the escape pod was in the other half of the ship, which had landed elsewhere, so he sent an SOS signal. Suddenly, the computer detected a functioning escape pod nearby, and Mill couldn't believe his luck when he found Koa alive inside. He immediately got her out and began investigating the area. However, he was shocked to find huge dinosaur footprints in the ground, making him realize that he was on Earth 65 million years ago. The next morning, he decided that he had to escape to save his daughter and set off to find the other half of the ship. He found massive bones indicating the presence of dangerous predators and was accidentally hit by a hot geyser blast. Eventually, he found the other half of the ship on a distant mountain but was attacked by a small dinosaur. Mill fought the creature until he finally killed it with his laser weapon. However, Koa fled from the ship, and Mill chased her until they both fell off a cliff. There, they found a large dead dinosaur. While treating his wound, Mill tried to explain the situation to Koa but discovered they didn't speak the same language and the ship's translator wasn't working. To communicate with Koa, Mill used red dust to draw on a tablet the mountain where the other half of the ship was located, the place where they could escape prehistoric Earth. Koa, excited, drew her parents, as she understood the word family. As Koa watches recordings of Navain, Mill sends another SOS message announcing that he has found a survivor. During their hike towards the mountain, Mill and Koa go through various situations, and as they progress, their relationship strengthens. Mill teaches Koa how to recognize poisonous plants, and when a huge insect lands on her neck, Mill kills it with his hand, becoming covered in a sticky, disgusting substance. As he tries to clean himself, a tree falls in front of them, causing strange noises behind a cliff. There, they find a small dinosaur trapped in a pit of the sticky substance. Although Koa wants to help it, Mill ends up assisting her to speed up the process. The little creature runs off as soon as it is freed, but only a few steps further, it is attacked by a group of predators that quickly kill it. Mill drags Koa to a hiding place so she doesn't have to watch her friend being devoured, but she can imagine what's happening and cries. After the dinosaurs leave, the pair continue their journey, stopping at a waterfall to wash up and refill their water bottle. Mill worries about the state of his stomach wound, but seeing Koa makes him think of Navain, and that's enough motivation to keep going. Koa finds some pretty flowers and pesters Mill until he lets her put one in his hair. Minutes later, Mill's scanner loses the location of the mountain, so he decides to climb a tree to get a better view and scan the area again. Suddenly, Mill falls and dislocates his arm. A group of dinosaurs hears the noise and starts to approach. To speed things up, Mill has Koa set his arm to give him the final push, and now that he's better, he immediately grabs the weapon to shoot at the creatures. If you're enjoying the video, please give it a like. It only takes a second and it helps me out a ton. He also tells Koa to run, and once she's far enough away, Mill activates some small bombs that quickly eliminate half of the dinosaurs. The survivors continue to pounce on Mill, and he kills them one by one. Meanwhile, a group of flying dinosaurs lands near Koa, so she begins to crawl to hide behind a tree. Unfortunately, the beasts from earlier find her, and just as they're about to pounce on her, Mill appears and kills them all. However, there is one hiding, and suddenly, it leaps onto Koa from behind and drags her away with its tail. Mill chases the creature that attacked Koa and manages to scare it off with a shot. After walking for a long time, the pair arrives at a cave where they will spend the night. Mill sets up some sensors to stay alert for potential dangers and watches the sky with his scanner, noticing that the meteorite is close but too small to be of concern. During the night, Mill wakes up to the sensors alerting him to an imminent danger. Discovering that an insect has entered Koa's mouth, they immediately kill it, causing her to cough, but the sensors start going haywire, and at that moment, a massive dinosaur appears at the cave entrance. Mills shoots it a couple of times before he and Koa run through a small hole in the back of the cave. The pair search for an exit, unaware that a smaller dinosaur is following them. When the creature attempts to attack them from behind, Nils waits for it and starts shooting, but the dinosaur strikes him and causes him to drop his gun. With the animal distracted, Mules retrieves his gun and kills it. Meanwhile, Koa ventures outside, exploring the forest alone and finding a massive bone that she can use as a weapon. She wraps it with poisonous berries and a large leaf before stashing it in her bag. Minutes later, Miles manages to exit the cave, and upon seeing an enormous meteorite approaching, he uses his scanner to discover that the meteorite he saw earlier was only a broken piece of a larger meteorite that will fall in a few hours, triggering a catastrophic extinction event. He immediately goes in search of Koa and hears her scream as a dinosaur approaches her. Koa runs to hide inside a hollow tree trunk while Bills races in her direction but stumbles and falls into a pit of quicksand. He tries to call out to Koa, but he slowly sinks until he can no longer speak. Koa hears Mills' call, so she gathers her courage and waits for the dinosaur to enter the tree trunk before hurling the bombs at it and fleeing. With the beast dead, Koa and Nils manage to escape the cave and face the threat of the approaching meteorite. After reaching the base of the mountain, they find the other half of the ship, and Milks confirms that there is a rescue ship coming for them. However, when Koa searches for her family, she discovers that all the cryotanks are destroyed and becomes furious with Mill for lying to her. Nils pulls out a photo of his daughter and explains that he lost his daughter while on a job and cannot allow that to happen again. Suddenly, smaller pieces of the meteorite begin to rain down on Earth, and the pair rush to enter the emergency capsule. However, a piece of the meteorite strikes the ship, causing the capsule to fall from the mountain and knocking the pair out in the process. When Koa and Mills awaken, a huge dinosaur attacks the capsule. Miles has to risk leaving the capsule to retrieve his gun, but he discovers that it doesn't work. Meanwhile, a second dinosaur joins the attack, and Mill finds himself surrounded. At that moment, Koa has an idea and plays a tape of Navane on the scanner, creating a hologram of the girl that distracts the dinosaurs and allows Bills to repair his gun and kill them. The emergency capsule is now in the correct position for launch, but before Bills can return, the wounded dinosaur they encountered in the cave comes back and starts chasing him. Mills runs towards the geysers and lures the dinosaur to walk into a hot water explosion. Although this doesn't cause much damage, Koa appears and stabs the bone she had prepared earlier into its eye. The dinosaur begins to stumble and walks into another geyser. This time, the explosion burns it to death. Koa returns to the capsule and manages to take off just before the meteorite hits the Earth, triggering the extinction of the dinosaurs. As the capsule exits the atmosphere, the autopilot takes them to the rendezvous point where a rescue ship is waiting for them. During the journey back home, Mills closes his eyes and imagines he will soon be reunited with his daughter, while Koa comforts him by holding his hand. But the adventure doesn't end here. I'll see you in the next summary video. Let's go!